A student from Dota Academy asked a question about breaching the dreaded high ground. It's not just this guy. There are numerous posts on Reddit where people are so upset about throwing games on the high ground. This student had the same concern. He owned the entire game but eventually lost because he and his team kept throwing on the high ground. In this video, I will go over some crucial things to keep in mind to successfully breach the high ground. The player in question is the Marcy here. As you can see, she's at 21k net worth and Medusa is at 16k, which is almost like one big item, right? There's like a 5k difference between both the carries. And as we can see here, that Radiant is taking Roshan, and they're trying to end this game. It's at 30 minutes. The longer this game goes, the harder it will become for the side of Radiant because Viper doesn't scale that much in comparison to Huskar, Dusa, Invoker. You know, these heroes scale much better than a Viper would at the late game. Even Marcy, at some point, just like stops being a threat once the BKB goes on a very small cooldown. Okay, so now based on going high ground, if you look at the map, right? There's no tier 2 tower on the top lane, no tier 2 tower on the mid lane, and there's a tier 2 tower on the bottom lane. So the way things work, people just kind of like tunnel vision on whatever objective is available on the map and they just go there. So this TP to mid is good. I like this TP because now you're just like pushing in the lane, which is good. You need to make sure that lanes are pushed out when you want to go high ground so that you don't have to go back all the way. Like this wave will eventually become an issue. So now his team is moving towards the bottom side. They probably want to take this tower, which is fine. They should take it. And after this, I would not go high ground for very simple reasons, right? I would go Tormentor if it's not there. If it's not here, then there's no reason for me to go here. What I would do here is that I would either go mid and go top, like basically play from this side till this side. Not going back to my own jungle, but staying here so I can push out all 3 waves and at the same time connect with my team and farm the enemy side of the map. Because if you go back to your side of the map, then the enemy gets to freely farm this side of the map and this side of the map, which is what we don't want to do. So now the reason why I don't want to go high ground here is very simple, right? So the first thing that you need to consider is the amount of deep push that the enemy has. Like when you look at Underlord and when you look at Dusa, these heroes can very easily get rid of the creeps from a very long range. So you're just gonna be stuck here with no creeps trying to hit this tower, which is gonna like open you up to a lot of like risk. Like you can die, a lot of things. Secondly, Marcy does not do any tower damage because she doesn't really have a lot of attack speed. Outside of her ult, of course. So in order to hit this tower, this hero needs to press her ultimate, and when she does that, she's just like cannot fight anymore, right? And it's a big cooldown, 60-second cooldown. And then the other heroes, they can't do it either. Kanka can't do it. Venge needs to save people. Viper can kind of do it, but he doesn't really have shard either, so he can't do it either. So going high ground is just like a big risk and also a big waste of time. Even if you don't die, you're going to waste a lot of time. So another thing to keep in mind, and you could probably close the video after I say this, is that literally just don't go high ground. If the enemy has 5 heroes alive, just don't go high ground. Wait for them to come down and kill them and then do it. That's like the most easiest way to approach high ground. You just need to convince your team somehow to just that we don't want to go high ground. We just want to wait in their triangle, in their inner jungle. Like you see this guy here, right? Like you can maybe smoke towards this side, put some vision, kill this guy. Even if you kill this guy, you cannot go high ground anyway because they still have Dusa and Underlord. So technically speaking, you need to kill Underlord to go high ground. Without that, you cannot do that. So let's see what happens here. Based on what's going on here. So this guy doesn't really want to go high ground, but Viper is trying to force it. So when something like this happens, you just want to like literally not go with them. If your team feeds her, let them feed. You don't want to die. Like if your team is doing something stupid, you don't want to follow them. You can just literally go mid. You see this is like a big wave. It's going to eventually push in more. This is a big wave. It's going to eventually push in more. So if you die here, you also like lose a lot of farm on the side lanes. So now, right now, you don't want to do that. What you need to do here is you need to go mid. In 2 seconds, there's going to be a wave here. You need to cut it. Someone needs to cut this wave. So that these waves like deep push. Like if you have 3 sides pushing into the enemy, they have to address all 3 lanes. That's where you can maybe get an opportunity to hit high ground. But outside of that, you cannot do anything. Like when you see here, this Viper just standing. You know, you guys are trying to go high ground. A lot of shit is happening. You know, this is like a complete waste of time. Nothing is happening. They get a go on Kanka. Probably going to die. Now you have to press all your buttons. You kind of kill Underlord, but now you cannot fight anymore. Why? Because you don't have age, you don't have BKB, you don't have ult. At this point, there's no reason to stay here. And you know, like even though we kill the Underlord, we cannot do anything about it. Right now, you look at mid lane, you look at top lane, there's nothing. Right? In these lanes, there's like nothing. Like you need to deep push these lanes rather than standing here. But that's not happening. Okay, now you're pushing this in. I like it. I would still say there's no reason to go high ground. You don't have your BKB. right? Viper needs like a... So there's like another thing that you should keep in mind when going high ground is that, do we have an item timing coming? Do we have a cooldown that we need to think about? Like, for example, you don't have your ult, you don't have your BKB. Even if you have your ult without BKB, you don't do much. Our Viper, our Kunkka doesn't have boat, right? Viper can farm like for like 2 minutes, even a minute, and he can get his butterfly, and then this is like much easier. But instead of doing that, you guys are just standing here doing nothing. Like, you can increase this 8k lead to like 16, 17, even 20k. All you have to do is just farm their part of the map. Eventually they will come out and you will kill them. Like, look at these lanes. Mid lane completely pushed in. Top lane completely pushed in. There's like so much farm that you're missing out on. And at the same time, you cannot go high ground. Like, you guys try to go high ground, but the problem is this guy has no boat. You have no BKB. You have no ult. So now this Kunkka is going to feed. And now you guys will think about, okay, let's just go back. And now if you don't go back, they're just going to run at you, right? So you eventually do try to fight. You get 2 kills. 3 kills. Now you're gonna try to go high ground, but the same thing, right? Same thing again. They have like wave clear, so you can't do shit about this. Like, you cannot go hit high ground because you don't have damage. Go to the other lanes. Like, you've been stuck in this side of the map for the last 3 minutes. This lead is like not increasing that much if you think about it. It was like 7k when you got Aegis. It's like 10k after you killed a couple of heroes. Basically, no one's hitting creeps is what I'm saying. Now you're gonna go mid finally. Now you're gonna go top. This is good. Just literally lock them inside of the map. And eventually they will feed. They will eventually feed. That's just how it works. Like, you see this guy, how outside he is. Now he's gonna feed. This is where you guys can go high ground. But the problem is, this is not coordinated. Like, your Viper just fed here. If Viper doesn't feed here, you can just literally walk high ground from this side. Okay, this is good vision. I'd probably fight her because I still have BKB. But you don't have ult, so maybe it's not that good of an idea. But yeah, these throws are just gonna keep happening because you guys are not controlling the map. You're doing something else, which is standing, trying to go high ground here. Like, this tower is like still full HP. Other thing to mention is that this part of the map is really hard to go high ground to. There's like this opening that you cannot do anything about. In comparison here, there's nothing. In comparison here, there's nothing. And then another thing is that when you have your BKB and all your spells, you kind of have to like play the enemy side of the map, not your own. Okay, you have BKB TP, so you can get out. You're not gonna do that. Okay, you're just dead. Now, the problem with this whole thing is that when we got Aegis 6 minutes ago, we needed to control the entire map and not go high ground. Like, when you just like fixate on this part of the map, like, let's say if I'm Medusa in this game, right, and you guys are coming high ground. Like, I know my Underlord and my Invoker can just very easily clear the waves. What I will do as a Medusa is I will literally just like run down this lane, farm your triangle. I'll keep farming here while you waste time here. While you waste time here, I'm farming like 1, 2, 3, 4k gold while you're doing nothing. Right? What you need to do is just literally have all the layers pushed into them when you have Aegis and when you're like stronger, right? You're still like 6k gold ahead of this Medusa, which is like really, really strong. All you have to do is control this part of the map. Not go high ground. Literally, do not even go up. Do not even think about it. The way this Underlord fed you like 2 minutes ago, he's gonna do that shit again. If he doesn't do it, someone else is gonna do it. All you have to do is just like control the outside of the map. If your team doesn't listen, fuck them. I'm not kidding. Just fuck them. Don't do it. Like, if your team dies without you, it's fine. The other thing that you want to like focus on is that you might think that, okay, I have the right idea, but my team doesn't. Like, for example, I don't want to go high ground, but they do. So I just follow them. Here's another perspective that I can give you. So when you kind of show them that you don't want to go high ground and they don't listen, and then you're like suddenly standing here and here, they're actually going to think that maybe, okay, this Marcy is not coming, so we cannot go high ground. They will flame you for not going high ground, but there's a very good chance that they will not do it because they don't feel as confident as they would with you. You have Aegis, you have the strongest hero, right? They will be hesitant. So that's like a strategy that you can definitely use. Now it's just like only 1k lead, so you guys can't really do much. And now it's just like the game's like falling apart constantly. You guys got second row share. You have banner as well, but even then, even with the banner, the only strategy that you can apply is you can go high ground, but only this guy can hit with shard. Not you, not anyone else. And he just has to get swapped if they go on him. Now the problem with this entire thing is that top lane is pushing, mid lane is pushing. You guys have to address this. Like, you guys have to address this. Yeah, Cook got TP'd in with X mark, but it's not enough. Right now, you guys are doing the same exact mistake again. Just running up high ground rather than controlling the map. Again, same exact thing. Same exact thing without that much of a lead is not going to produce better results. Right? When you guys go here, nothing's happening. You guys try to fight, but nothing's happening, right? Like, what are you going to do? This guy probably dies or not, but yeah. This is a complete shit show. Like, if you guys just don't do this and just like go outside of the map and just like farm the outside of the map, like, I don't know if you watch pro games, but if you've noticed, they literally do not go high ground even when they have like 20-25k lead, because high ground is just stupid. There's like so hard to fight on high ground, it's insane. So all you gotta do is pretty simple, right? Right now you're trying to fight without BKB and ult, you're gonna die twice, if not once. Like, maybe they can buy back or whatever, but you're gonna die eventually. Like, you're still dead even after this, right? So there's no point of killing this Medusa or whatever. Like, you need to basically control these parts of the map rather than going high ground and force them to come outside. That's literally all I have to add. The biggest thing that you can do in terms of like going high ground is to just literally not go high ground. And what do you do instead of going high ground? You hit creeps. Now you think that this is like quite boring, like there's nothing happening in the game. But the thing is, think about them. Think about the enemy. At least you are hitting creeps. They're just like stuck inside the base. Do you not think that they will get bored and eventually come outside and die like that Underlord did here? They will. All you have to do is not go high ground and give them a chance to come back. You can literally farm here, 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 whatever, right? Just like close this perimeter from this point. Cut these waves, form the route. If they try to fight outside of their base, they're going to lose because you're stronger. And when they lose, when they're dead, you can go high ground. So the key things to keep in mind is, first of all, the enemy deep push. Think about how much deep push do they have. If they have a lot, chances are going high ground is completely useless. Second thing to think about is own tower damage and team tower damage. This means that, am I able to hit towers well? Like, as an SF, I can hit towers well, but as an MRC, I can't do that. And if I'm SF in this game, I can hit that tower and I can get swapped out. It's much different than a Marcy. So those things matter. If you can do tower damage, think about how your team can do tower damage. In this case, Viper the only one who can do it, but he doesn't have shards, so he can't do that either. Third thing you have to think about is amount of heroes alive, which is probably the biggest thing that you have to think about. It's like, if the enemy has 5 heroes alive, literally do not go high ground. In a 5v5 game, do not go high ground at all. Fuck it. Don't do it. Unless the enemy doesn't have TP, dead, or whatever, which makes it not a 5v5. So if it's a 5v5, don't go high ground. And fourth thing is literally not going high ground. Literally just don't go high ground. Don't think about any of the things. If enemy 5 heroes are alive, just don't go high ground. Play outside of the high ground. Play their side of the map. They will come out. They will feed you. They will 100% do it. They will always do it. And then you can go high ground. And the last thing that if you think about it, what spells you have in cooldowns. Like, for example, in this game, there was a moment where the last time we tried to go high ground, this Viper could have farmed his butterfly, right? But he didn't, because he was constantly trying to hit high ground rather than going and farming creeps. You did not have BKB and ult, but you still went in and fought, even though you don't have your cooldowns and spells. Keep that in mind. You guys did not have Concuss Ghost Ship, and you still tried to fight, and you guys lost that fight, which is where they started to come back from. So this is what I have to add. If you wish to significantly improve in Dota, I offer coaching packages that will significantly improve your MMR as they have for other students. If you're interested, you can either join my Discord or check out my website at paindota.com. Lastly, I want to tell you about Dota Academy, a private community I started with 2 other coaches who are 13k and 12k respectively. In the academy, there are 4 classes per week on every role where you can learn a lot. We teach every role from the ground up, so even if you're new to any role, you can learn it. Not only that, if you gain the highest amount of MMR at the end of the month out of all the students, you can avail a free coaching session of your choice from any of the coaches. If you want to join Dota Academy, click on the link in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video and it was helpful.